Hey everyone, it's Birth Ogre, and I'm here now. This is my review for Paddington in Peru, the new film directed by Dougal Wilson, and starring Ben Whishaw as the voice of Paddington, alongside Hugh Bonneville, Emily Mortimer, Julie Walters, Olivia Colman, Antonio Banderas, and also Hayley Atwell in the lead roles. Now, there are some huge changes with the third installment in this beloved series. Now, the first big change is that Paddington has a subtitle in the title of the movie. Now, the first few movies were called Paddington and Paddington 2. This movie has In Peru with it, so that's kind of a big change right there. And thematically kind of preparing you that this is a different film in comparison to the first two movies when I tell you the other two big changes. Now, the other huge change is that Paul King, the director of the first few movies, is only doing the story here as he's moved on to do films like Wonka. Now, Dougal Wilson does a pretty good job of carrying the film forward in terms of, thematically carrying on the adventurous, whimsical, and kind of like lighthearted nature of the first two movies, but I feel like Paul King's style is a little bit missed here, and it does feel like it's a little bit toned down in terms of that kind of happy nature that the first two films had. This movie's still good, but I feel like Paul King's style and that kind of like flavor that he brought to the first movies is kind of missing here. And another huge change is that Sally Hawkins is not the matriarch anymore in this film. She was in the first two movies as the mother of the Brown family, but here she's replaced by Emily Mortimer, who does a pretty admirable job of carrying on her legacy with the third installment in the series. So outside of those big changes, Paddington in Peru is a very fun movie. I did like it. I thought, even though it's not on the level of Paddington and Paddington 2, Paddington 2 is considered by many one of the greatest sequels of all time. And In Peru is a decent and admirable film, but I kind of feel like it could have been a lot more. Maybe if Paul King did direct this movie, maybe it would have been a little bit better. But also, I feel like the detriment to this movie is that it kind of came a little bit too late. Now, technically, North America just got the release of this movie. It came out in Britain in November. So I feel like the last Paddington film came out in 2017, I believe. So it's been 7-8 years since the original two films came out. So I think that time jump has kind of hindered the movie in a little sense. It could have been made, like a few years beforehand. But outside of that, I'd say that this movie was fun. It was adventurous. It was over the top in a nice and, whimsical way that the first two films had in common. And I think that Ben Whishaw does an incredible job again with the voice of Paddington. We get some backstory towards Paddington's childhood in this movie, which was nice. The CGI was pleasant. I think that the performances were pleasant. I think that the exotic location of Peru was really well done here. I think that added a little bit to the story here. And if they are going to continue on the Paddington series in the future, hopefully they go to more exotic locations and more adventures. And again, I think it's just like talking animals or animals in general. There was a moment near the end of the film where Paddington is talking to the Brown family where I almost cried. It's just, these movies have something that is able to connect with you. And I think that there's something beautiful about these movies that I really love. And Paddington's such a lovable character. I really hope that they continue on with this franchise, even if some of the stars are going to be changed or if they decide that, they're kind of bored with the series. I hope that they continue on. And I hope that Paul King does come back in the future. Maybe he won't, maybe he's going to be busy with the Wonka series, but by all means, keep on making the Paddington movies. They're fun, they're adventurous, they're very family friendly. They're the kind of movies that I kind of miss watching from my childhood, and it's kind of nice watching them now with a different mindset. Also, why is Hayley Atwell in a supporting character here? She's such a big star. Like, it was kind of distracting that she's only in this movie for like a supporting character role. Maybe she just wanted to be in a Paddington film, but it was just every time she was on screen, I was like, that's Hayley Atwell. Why is she just playing a random character here? But no, I digress. The ending of the movie doesn't really hint at anything that's going to come up in the future. Hopefully, they go on another adventure. Maybe it's to another continent or maybe to another exotic location. But again, if you want to see something pleasant, fun, and, just enjoyous and very happy, watch Paddington in Peru. I give this movie 8 out of 10. Again, it's not on the level of Paddington and Paddington 2, but it's still fun and still pleasant. And once you've seen the film, let me know in the comments below your thoughts on Paddington in Peru.